Hi, I'm Rissel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. We are now in 2026. Where did the time go? And I'm just going to give a small recap, plans ahead for 2026, because that's apparently what you do in January on BookTube. Now, I had a lot of projects in 2025, and they didn't go very well. So let's move on. I'm happy with books that I've read in a sense. But I, for example, had my 25 in 25, which were 2 reading challenges. But they didn't pan out. And that's fine. Not always, not all your plans will pan out. It's not the end of the world. We're not doing rocket science here. And some of the projects that I started, I thought I would finish. I didn't. 2 of them are my Read What You Own, inspired by Criminoli's Read What You Own challenge, where my husband has wrapped up 100 books, and I'm reading them one at a time. I thought I would be done by now, because I very easily read at least 100 books a year, but I didn't. So I'm going to continue to do that because I like the project. I like having to reflect on, because the idea isn't just reading books off your shelf. It's also do not buy any more books until you're done. And with the exception of a few caveats, I haven't. And I like that. I like having to reflect on my book buying tendencies. So I am going to continue to do that until I am done. And then I'm going to make a video, and I'm probably going to continue that challenge, but maybe change a few of the rules before that. Another challenge that I was doing that I thought I would be done with, that I am, that's fine, was inspired by Alma's Reading Through Time. She has just posted a new version of this challenge, where she is going to read more historical fiction, so books set in the time. But the project I'm doing, and I'm going to continue doing, is books set written at specific times. And I have sort of expanded that project. So she had 2 books a month, one based on a century, one based on a decade. I was like, yeah, and I need all of the centuries. And I need all of... So for each decade, I was reading African, European, Asian, American, Oceanian, sort of being extra. But I liked it. I really liked reading books from different parts of the world to see where, not because you can really do any sort of generalizations of where the world is, but to sort of see how, what was happening in different parts of the world in a certain decade. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm about halfway through. I'm the 1940s is the time I'm still working on. And I will continue to do that because I'm enjoying that project, even if it's taking a bit more longer time than I thought. Then, of course, my continuing projects that I didn't think I was going to finish this year. So I'm just tottering along. And that is, of course, my Reading Around the World challenge that I will continue to do. I am focused a lot on reading globally, reading translations, and I want to read one book from each country of the world, and I'm enjoying that project. when we are going to get in August, we of course are going to have Women in Translation. I had a huge project this year that I both enjoyed because Biblio, who was a book blogger in 2019, who sort of introduced the concept, worked through with the concept of Women in Translation Month, had sort of gathered in and created a list of 100 books. And this year I read all of these 100 books. And that was a project. I didn't. All of the books on the list were good. Not all of them were to my liking. So some of the books were more of a slog to get through. So it wasn't. I didn't like it necessarily at the time, all the time. But I'm very glad that I have, because it was interesting to sort of pull yourself back and see sort of what is this list? And I've created a video where talking about that. Probably going to do something in August for Women in Translation Month. And one of the things that I also sort of realized during the project of reading all of these 100 books is that when books are translated into English, very often it's books that are literary. It's books that are heavy. It's books that are sort of high art, mostly. And I think that is kind of sad because, well, they write genre books in all languages. And I therefore think I wanted to do a project sort of building on what I did with Women in Translation, where I try to read more genre literature and just talk generally about genre literature in translation. I don't personally read a lot of genre literature. I read mainly literary fiction. So this was also a good way for me to read more genre literature. So I have picked out 12 books that I'm going to read. So 12 books, one for each month, but 2 and 2 are the same genre. So I'm going to probably make one video every other month based on it. And the first video are with the theme thriller. And there I'm going to read I Can See in the Dark by Karin Fossum, which is a Norwegian author. And Chaos in Kinshasa is by Barley Baruti and Thera Bellefroid. Barley Baruti is, I think if I read this correctly, that this is a graphic novel. And Barley Baruti is a very famous graphic novel author from DRC. Then I had 2 mystery books. One is Feluda in the Golden Fortress by Satvait Ray, who's from India. And the other is Havana Blue by Leonardo Padura, who's from Cuba. And this is one of the Havana Quartet books. So Leonardo Padura wrote sort of 4 books set in Havana. And both of these are, based on what I read, sort of very traditional genre mystery detective books. Then I have a month with, I don't know which one's going to go first. If it's, I'm probably then going to do the sci-fi. So this is two sci-fi books, The Core of the Sun by Johanna Sinsalo, who's from Finland, and Trafalgar by Angelika Gurodischer. I'm sorry for pronouncing that name wrong, who's from Argentina. And then I'm going to do horror and humor. Yeah, because then we're in October. So horror and humor. And so one book is a horror book and one book is a humor book. Because humor is also a genre that is very little translated. So I wanted to do both. The horror book is The New Seoul Park Jelly Massacre by Jeon Cho, who is from South Korea. And the humor book is The Faithful Adventures of the Good Soldier Savik during the World War I by Jaroslav Hašek, who's Czech. And I just am going to point out with the Good Soldier Savicek, because you very often, if you're going to search for that book, that's 4 books in a series. I am mostly going to focus on the first book in that series, but these books are very often found in an omnibus with all 4 books. So don't if you want to join me on this reading, not all of them, because not everyone is interested in the same genres, but if you want to try out a humor book in translation, don't worry, based on the size. Then we have romance, which is Maria Chapdelaine by Louis Herman, who is French-Canadian. And this is a reread from me. Sin is a Puppy That Follows You Home by Balraba Rama Yakubi, who's from Nigeria. And I actually read this book when I did a romance challenge, where I read try to find as many subgenres of romance that I could find and read one from each subgenre. There is a whole playlist of all of those videos if you are interested. And lastly, we have fantasy, where we have The Perfect Nine by Nyenungiwa Cheong, who is a Kenyan author and wrote both in English and a non-English language. And The Apothecary Diaries 1, this is a light novel, and it's also been turned into a manga by Natsu Hyaga, who is Japanese. So that's the project. There will be a video every other month. And if some of these genres seem interesting to you, then you're welcome to read it with me and join in on the discussion of genre books in translation. I looked at that project and I fell in love because it seems I love challenges like that are overly complicated and convoluted and have such strict rules. And I thought that, this is going to be easy. I am just going to go at this and no problem. And there is 2 things that I have now failed twice. And the thing I keep failing on in regarding to that challenge is you have to read specific books at specific times. So, for example, one of the prompts, both the first one and this second one, is that you are going to read a book the month it is published. And she did open up those rules this year, so that you can now read that book either the month before or the month after it is published. And that it doesn't work for me. I've tried to figure out why it doesn't work. And I think partly of it is due to the fact that inspired by Criminal is Read What You Own challenge. Inspired by a challenge I'm going to talk a bit more about later, which is the library challenge. I've been much more critical of my reading. Buying. I've been much more critical about my buying. And reading books the month they are published is a very expensive endeavor and limiting endeavor to me. And it doesn't help that being in Norway, our publishing schedules isn't necessarily similar to everyone else. So I have figured out that I am probably never going to do the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. And that's fine. It's fine that I can't do that challenge, that there are certain things I'm prioritizing differently. It's a brilliant challenge. There's a reason why I've tried it twice. And I don't feel bad about myself for not having succeeded it. But I am going to be inspired by it in the sense that one of the challenges this year that I really liked was that you were going to pick a genre and then read at least 3 different subgenres from this one. And inspired by that one, I want to do a similar project to my romance project, but now with thrillers and mysteries, and trying to understand why are these very often linked together? What's the difference? What's not the difference between them? So that is a project I'm going to work with, just reading through thrillers as best I can. And I think that's going to be fun. In addition to that challenge, I also want to try out something in probably September. And that is, we are good at reading, or not good, but we have at least put on the map reading books that have been translated from a non-English language. But what I've realized is that still leaves a lot of books from the former English Empire that has sort of ended up in no man's land, where we don't really read books from these countries. We don't really read books from Belize or Nigeria or Bangladesh. But they aren't really talked about in, for example, projects with like reading in translation. So in September, I'm just going to have a bit of a focus on books written by authors who are living or lived in the sort of the English-speaking countries that I don't think that we are reading enough from. And lastly, this year I have been wanted to use my library more often. I created a few prompts, and while I haven't enjoyed all of the books I have read on that challenge, I have still enjoyed the challenges themselves. I have enjoyed going to my library and using it as an institution. So I'm going to continue to do that. Now, some of the prompts really didn't work, so I have shortened it to just having 8 prompts. And then each prompt is going to be used 3 times in a year for $2 a month. The prompts that we are going to work with is a random number Dewey Decimal nonfiction. The idea here is that I create a random Dewey Decimal number, and then I pick a non-fiction book from that Dewey Decimal number. A new book at the library, a random letter, fiction, which is I get a random letter and then I pick an author of which has that as its last name, and then I have a random number, which is I have counted all of the shelves at the library, and then I'm going to pick a book from that shelf. We are going to do a book club, librarian recommendation, a film based on a book, and the book the film is based on, and a themed display. So those are the 8 prompts that I am going to use, and the challenge will probably be sort of at the end of each month. And just to figure out which ones I'm going to start with, I am... Give me a moment. Thank you for patience. We are going really low tech because I had not prepared this part, but we of course need to pick our prompts for the January challenge because, well, how do I know which books to read in January? And then we're going to pick the prompts for February at the end of the January video, and so on and so on. So this is quite easily just numbers on pieces of paper, and I'm going to pick 1, and I'm going to pick 2. And these prompts are number 3, which is a random letter. So I'm just going to create a random letter and pick a book based on an author on that one. And number 8, which is the themed display. So a book from one of the themed displays they have at this time. So that's really what I'm going to do and work with in 2026. What are your plans for 2026? And thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.